Hi, hello, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Dana and today I am going to be sharing with you just a few things that I wish I knew when I started my fitness journey, just so that you guys can take a little bit of the guesswork out of this whole thing. There are so many people online in your real life that say eat this, don't eat that, do this, don't do that, and blah blah blah, and it's kind of hard to weed through the bullshit. So I'm gonna weed through it for you. Before I get into this, I will say that I'm getting over a 3-day stomach bug. This is the first time I've gotten out of bed in about 3 days. So if I sound a little bit out of breath, no, I didn't just run a marathon. I just can't fucking breathe right, okay? But it's fine. The show must go on. I wanted to have this video uploaded the day before it's being uploaded, but life happens. So we're gonna get into these things that I wish that I knew. So hopefully you can get started on your journey a little bit better than I did. Tip number 1, probably the most important thing about weight loss is calories in versus calories out. All the time you'll hear, how can I lose weight? Cut carbs, don't eat sugar, do this, do that. No. It's as simple as if you eat less calories than you burn, you will be in a calorie deficit and you lose weight. If you eat more calories than you burn, you will be in a calorie surplus and you will gain weight. That is literally all that is to weight loss. That's all that's to it. I swear to you, I promise you, tried and true method, calorie deficit is the way. If you are unsure about your calorie intake per day, you can use an app like MyFitnessPal or Lose It. I personally like to use Lose It. I just find it more user-friendly. Track everything that you're putting in your body and it'll tell you how many calories you're eating a day. That's it. One thing I will say though about the whole cutting carbs, cutting out sugar, things like that, is that processed food typically does have a higher calorie count than whole foods like fruits and vegetables and grains and meats or tofu or things like that. So if you don't want to count calories and you just want to kind of make it a little bit easier on yourself, just try swapping out some of the processed foods for more whole foods, and that will definitely be able to reduce your caloric intake because you're eating healthier foods. So tip number 1, calories in versus calories out. Make sure that you are in a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight. Tip number 2, and I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, but I also feel like some people just kind of fall into the let me do what this person is doing or let me do what that person is doing. Find a workout that you enjoy. If you do not enjoy getting up and going on a run, then don't do it. If you don't enjoy lifting super heavy weights, then don't do that. If you don't enjoy doing push-ups, then don't do it. You don't have to do anything specific to get into shape. Just do something that you can keep up with. If you like to dance, take a dance class. Dance in your living room for 30 minutes. If you like to bike, go to the gym and get on the bike. Or if you have a bike, ride around your neighborhood. Like, there's so many different methods of working out. You don't have to limit yourself to just the typical cardio like running. I personally hate to run. You will not see me running unless I'm being chased by a bear. I don't want to do it. So guess what? I'm not going to do it. I do realize that cardiovascular health is important, but there are other ways to get in cardio than just running. Maybe you prefer the elliptical. Maybe you prefer to take an aerobics class. I don't know. I mean, like, the possibilities are literally endless, but find a workout that you enjoy. On top of that, I will say, if you have specific goals, it is important to pick a workout that is going to be relevant to your goals. Let's say you want to be toned. First of all, being toned is not a thing. If you want to be toned, that means that you have to have muscle on your body. If you want to build muscle on your body, the easiest way to do that is to lift weights. Not saying that you have to, squat 200 pounds. That's not totally necessary. One thing that I know that I've learned recently in my weightlifting journey is that there are 3 different rep ranges for different things that you want to accomplish. If you want to accomplish strength, your rep ranges are going to be heavy weight for sets of 1 to 5 reps. If you want to do endurance, you're going to be doing lightweight for like 12 to 20 reps. But if you want to do hypertrophy, which is what I'm currently working on, that's about 6 to 12 reps. So hypertrophy is basically just building muscle mass, which is what I'm working on right now. And I've realized that that is a better rep range for me because strength while I am still getting strength in the hypertrophy phase, is not all that important to me. So I changed the format of my workout to be more appealing to what my goals are. I'm still lifting weights, I'm just doing it a different way. So tip number 2, find a workout that you enjoy, but also make it relevant to your goals. Tip number 3, and this is something that I feel like is very, very common, especially when people are really anxious to lose weight or are really trying to like hit a goal really fast, is lowering your calories to the least amount possible, or being in the gym 6 to 7 days a week does not equal success. If you were eating 1,200 calories a day, you are not eating enough for your body. 1,200 calories is the amount that my 4-year-old, that my 2-year-old are probably eating in a day to keep up their high levels of energy. We are adults. We need more food than that. We just need more energy. Food is fuel. And if you are not fueling your body properly, you are not going to have the energy to sustain workouts. And I mean, it's just as simple as that. Going to the gym 7 days a week is also not ideal. Your body needs fuel and it needs exercise, but it also needs rest and recovery. I'll be honest, when I started working out, I went balls to the wall and I started going 6 days a week. I did maintain that for a while because I was so determined to get down to a specific weight goal, but in the end I realized it didn't really matter if I was taking off an extra day to rest and to recover because I needed that time. You don't make gains in the gym. You make gains when you're recovering. You make gains when you're sleeping. Bonus tip, make sure you're getting in sleep because sleep is so important. It is so important. But that's also another story for another day. If you are lowering your calories to be in a calorie deficit, make sure that you're not setting them too low because you need the energy to sustain, daily life functions, but also your workouts. If you set your calories too low, it's going to destroy your metabolism, and overall it's just going to ruin any progress that you have already made, or you're going to stop making progress because you're not giving your body the energy it needs. Tip number 3, more workouts does not equal more gains, and lower calories does not mean better weight loss, or whatever you think it means. Tip number 4, you cannot spot reduce fat. I get questions all the time. How do I lose the belly fat? How do I lose the arm jiggle? How do I lose my ankle fat, or whatever? You can't do it. Fat falls off how it wants to. Like I said previously, if you want to prioritize fat loss, eat more protein. I'm not going to get into that now because that's a whole nother topic of discussion, but fat will fall off how it wants to. If you're in a calorie deficit, if you're eating right, you will lose fat. It may not be exactly how you want it to, but one thing that you can do to help is lift weights to build muscle under the fat. So when the fat does fall off, you have muscle there kind of like showing up afterwards. One thing that I will say in my personal experience and just in my research, for women especially, your belly fat is usually the last fat to go. And I know that's like the number one place that we wanted to get away from, but if you just keep working and you keep it consistent, it will go away eventually. You just have to keep working on it, and that's all that there is to it. You cannot pick the places where you want it to fall off. It just is going to come off how your body composition works, how your body deems necessary. So tip number 4, you cannot spot reduce your fat. It will fall off how it wants to if you are maintaining a consistent diet and workout routine. Number 5, track your progress in multiple ways. Now, obviously the easy way of tracking your progress or your weight loss is the scale. And the scale can be beneficial. For me, I don't love to use the scale all the time because I get a little bit addicted to it, and when I don't see the number budging, or if it's like flip-flopping or doing this or that, it kind of discourages me. But one thing that you have to realize is that there are so many other factors that go into your body composition that just a regular scale won't take into the account. Are you building muscle mass? If you're building muscle mass, the scale is not going to be able to tell the difference between lean muscle mass and body fat. So if you're losing body fat but you're gaining muscle mass, your clothes might fit differently, your skin, you might feel tighter, but the scale's not going to show that. So take measurements, take pictures, and notice how your clothes are fitting. Those are all different ways that you can measure your progress that don't include the scale, because the scale is just not going to account for everything. If you're You know, the scale might go up if you're a little bit less hydrated than you were a week ago, or it might go up if you are on your period. I mean, there's just so many things that the scale just can't show you. And when you remind yourself of that, it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off, and you're like, okay, well, I might be the same weight that I was 2 weeks ago, but this shirt fits a little bit looser than it did 2 weeks ago, and that's great. And that's what we're looking for. So the number on the scale really doesn't matter, and I know that's so hard to hear for some people, but it really doesn't. It's not important. It's just a number. So tip number 5, measure your progress in other ways than just the scale. I think in the beginning of this video I said 5 tips, but I just thought of a few other things that I want to mention, so I'm going to add them in here just as a quick little extra bonus tip. So bonus tip number 1, or tip number 6, is don't follow a diet. I mean, if you want to follow a diet, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think it's more important to make changes that are sustainable for the long term than to do a diet. So for example, I've had people ask me about the keto diet. The keto diet would never work for me because I like carbs, okay? I want to eat bread. I want tortillas. I want pasta. I love it. I want it. I gotta have it. And I am not gonna subject myself to cutting out all my carbs just for a diet. I think it's stupid. But what you can do is you could choose healthier options. You could choose maybe a whole grain bread, or lower carb tortillas, or like almond flour tortillas, or, you know, I mean, nowadays there are so many options that you can choose substitutes. You could have red lentil pasta or chickpea pasta versus wheat pasta. Like, there's so many things that you could do instead of being like, I'm gonna cut out all carbs. Who in their right mind wants to live a life without carbs? I don't. I'm sure most of you don't. So why do it, you know? And it's not sustainable long term. As soon as you introduce those carbs back in, that weight's gonna go right back up, because it's not the loss of carbs that is helping you lose weight, it's the calories. Like I said earlier, calories in versus calories out. If you were taking carbs out of your diet completely, you're probably eating less calories overall because you're eating more vegetables, you're eating more protein. So it has nothing to do with the carbs, and it has everything to do with the calories that you are eating. Also, second bonus tip, or tip number 7, slow and steady wins the race. Okay, I know when you have a goal, when you have your mind set on something, you want to get it done, and you want to get it done as quickly as possible. I'm gonna insert 2 pictures in, one of my like before picture and one is a more current picture. The time between these 2 pictures, drum roll please, is 1.5 years. Okay, there's 1.5 years in between these 2 pictures, and I'm not saying, obviously, you know, everybody's goals are different. My goals are probably going to be different from your goals, and they're going to be different from the next person's goals. But what I am saying is, anything worth having is worth working for. It's worth taking the time to accomplish, and accomplish in a way that's going to be sustainable. Okay, well, first of all, let me just say, there's no way that I would get from here to here in 3 months. It's not gonna happen unless I was literally starving myself. Even if I was starving myself, it wouldn't happen, because the muscle gain over here would not have happened in that short amount of time. It takes work, it takes time, but as long as you're consistent, it will happen for you. It will. And that's all that there is to it. Consistency is key. It doesn't matter how many times you fall, but the amount of times you get back up is what really counts. And as long as you keep getting back up, you're gonna do the damn thing, okay? My shirt, the shirt that I'm wearing right now, it says, dream but don't sleep. Dream. Have those dreams in your head every time you get up in the morning, when you're like, okay, what do I want to accomplish today? And it doesn't have to be weight loss, it doesn't have to be muscle gain, it could be anything. Maybe you're trying to start a business, maybe you're trying to do this or that. Have those dreams in the back of your mind every waking moment, and you will commit to the process, and you will commit to doing whatever it is that you want to do. So those are my tips for you. I hope that all made sense. I had a few notes, and then I just kind of went on a little bit of a tangent and just kind of started rambling. I can breathe now. As soon as I turn this camera off, I'm gonna get back in the bed because I feel like horse shit. It's fine though. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this and other things that have to do with health and fitness and all of that. and I will see you on the next one. Bye.